Hey there, there's a lot of haters on the interwebs. We're going to talk about it. Hey there folks, welcome back to the Photo Video Show where we explore all things photography. I'm your host Mark Puckett, and on today's show I want to talk to you guys just a smidge about all the things that have been going on since I made the announcement that I am divorcing Nikon and picking up Sony. I'm making this video one day before I have a big photo assignment. I have a photo shoot that I'm doing tomorrow. I've been working on an art project with a local artist for about the last year and a half, and unfortunately none of the stuff that I've been able to do, I've not been able to show any of it, mainly because we are trying to sell the work to some art galleries up in New York. My partner has actually flown up to New York probably last month, and we had a book printed up and we took it to several different galleries up there. This is basically where I'm at though. This new shoot that I'm going to be doing tomorrow, I'm going to be using the new Sony A6000. I have had a ton of feedback since I released that video. Some of it's been good, most of it, I'll say this, most of it has been good. Some of it has been not so good. I am really surprised at how many haters are out there on the internet. And I don't mean, you know, just like your standard troll or whatever. I'm talking about like hardcore brand loyalists. I mean, they really believe in their product, and I think that is awesome. I really, really do. But I will say this, I mean, some people are just downright rude. I mean, they're really crappy to deal with, and I really hate that because, I mean, this is a photography community, and all I'm trying to do, every single time I make one of these videos, I'm trying to help my viewers, whether it be I'm trying to give you value in your entertainment, or I'm trying to give you value in your education, or I'm trying to save you guys some money on something, or I'm trying to give you guys my personal recommendation about a certain product or what have you. So I figured, you know, that by posting that, like, I would really get a lot of positive feedback because there are a lot of new photographers just starting out that watch my channel, and most of them are looking for value. They're not professionals. They're not getting paid thousands of dollars to do these shoots. They are just starting out. Those are the people that I target in my videos. Pros don't need my advice. They don't need my tips or my tricks or anything like that. They already know it all. They're the ones that already have all the info. You know, they done know it all. They've done all the things in the business, and they don't need, you know, to learn anything new. They've already got it all. So those are not the guys that I'm targeting, you know, for my videos. At any rate, a lot of feedback has come back, and the first thing that I got when I made that Nikon Divorce video was that I was being paid by Sony. And I've also checked a couple of other photographers that released similar testimonials out on the internet, and they were accused also of being paid by Sony. I've never been paid a dime by Sony. I'd like to be paid. I'm a free market capitalist. I enjoy being paid for hard work. I enjoy reaping the rewards of my effort. So would I like to be paid by somebody? Would I like for somebody to sponsor me? Squarespace has sponsored me a couple times. And you can easily see those videos on my channel as well, but I've never once been paid a dime by Sony, ever. And that was essentially my initial reaction to this camera, was just awe and amazement. You know, it was so light, and it's very comfortable to use, and it's easily packable. It can go anywhere. I was really blown away by this particular camera. I should be clear about how I feel about this camera. I don't think that it beats your camera, and I don't feel like it blows your camera out of the water. I don't think that it's this thing that's going to get rid of all other cameras. That's not the point. The point of it was that this camera, for its size and for its weight And for its price point, it produces amazing photographs and does a damn good job at video too. Just my opinion. And I hate that I always have to disclaimer that it's just my opinion, but it is just my opinion. For the size and the weight and the price, I can produce photos and videos that were just as good, if not better in some cases, than camera bodies and high-priced lenses that cost thousands of dollars. Why? I don't know. Sony's just doing some really good things. And those things happen to impress me. So one of the other comments that I got was from a gentleman who left a comment on the last video, and he was talking about how this was, you know, my video was like the second or third video that he had seen where other professionals had laid down their quote-unquote pro gear and had decided to pick up this camera. Well, the fact of the matter is that pros are the ones that are using all that high-priced gear. They're the ones that have to pay for it on a regular basis. If it fails, if it tears up, if they need a warranty replacement or whatever, they're the ones that are paying those exuberantly high prices. But I think what most of us are learning, we're spec fatigued. And I'm going to call it that. I have spec fatigue, something awful. I am so tired of going, oh, well, this is better and that's better and yada, 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 and this, that, and the other, and these, you know, it's ridiculous how much we think we have to keep up with all the different specs in order to have the best piece of gear so that we can intimidate and piss off and make others feel smaller than ourselves. Pro photographers are the ones that are having to buy this stuff. So when they saw this camera come out and they saw the amazing amount of quality that was being able to come off such a tiny little camera, it was a big thing. Not because it blows anybody else's camera out of the water. The size, the weight, the massive amounts of functionality that are in this camera, and the price point. I mean, those are the things that we're selling a lot of us. I mean, I have carried around this camera more in the last month than I probably did my DSLR rig in the last year. And that's just the truth. I am sorry, but I hated lugging it around. Period. End of story. I can't stress enough how bad I hated it. But that's the reason why I believe a lot of pros are dropping those big, bulky DSLRs, because this is a much lighter, more efficient option. And that's the reason I dropped it. It's lighter and it produces gorgeous imagery for me. So why would I carry around something that weighs, 3-4 pounds more when this one's doing just fine? It's doing everything I need it to. So the second question I got was, is it that good? And if it is, why isn't everyone using it? My answer to him was, changes come slow, but they always come. Okay, you're not going to stop progress. You're not going to stop advancement. You're not going to stop innovation. People constantly want to help improve other people's lives. That's the reason I'm doing, a YouTube channel, is I'm trying to help other people out. There is a slight profit motive, but I don't get paid hardly anything from Google. I maybe make, $100 or something a month from the Google AdSense. I mean, it's not like I'm getting rich off YouTube, but you're not going to stop innovation. You're not going to stop progress. And for us to think that everyone is going to be using it right off the bat is unrealistic. I think that if they got their hands on it for any good length of time, that would be exactly what would happen. More people would pick it up and use it. I believe that they would find value and functionality that they don't currently have. And I believe that given the right amount of time, I've already hearing that Sony is coming out with an A6000, I believe. And I believe it's also going to have the in-body image stabilization, much like the A7 Mark II. And I think that'll be a great addition. Why? Because most of the lenses that I've recently picked up are old Minolta mount lenses. And that's another good thing about this camera. But they don't have any optical image stabilization or VR like Nikon had, or OSS like Sony has. So having some in-body stabilization is going to kill it. And this is another reason why I say that Sony is making it extremely easy for photographers to switch. They saw that this camera was being utilized in a way that they hadn't anticipated. Yes, they'd like to sell more of their Sony lenses, but most of us went out and bought third-party, old-school lenses, okay? Using these adapters and stuff like that. And they know that these old lenses do not have any sort of stabilization on them. So they're going to put it in the body for us. I think that's awesome. And it's not taking them 2 or 3 years to do it. They released this camera last year in 2014 in like, what was it, March or something? And they're already going to crank out another one. They're listening to the customer. And I find value in a company that I'm going to buy from that listens to me. There's a novel idea. Listen to the people that are buying your products and quit trying to jerk us around. I don't see where that's an unrealistic expectation. Just my £2. Third question I got is why would I want to be exclusive to Sony? I think someone was a little taken aback by the fact that I had said that I was going to sell all my Nikon flashes and sell all my Nikon lenses, all my Nikon G lenses. Well, the fact of the matter is that equipment is extremely expensive. Okay, G lenses are not cheap at all. I mean, you could buy a standard portrait 85mm 1.4 portrait lens, and that thing would cost you roughly $1,200 from Nikon, if you got Nikon brand. If you went with like Sigma or Tamron, something like that, you might be able to pick it up for $800 or whatever. That's ridiculous. I don't want to pay that kind of money anymore. Not when I can pick up this Minolta 50mm for $25. I mean, I'm picking up, you know, half the fun for me now is that I've never heard of half the lenses that I'm picking up. I picked up this lens. It's a VMAR automatic. It's a 35mm. It's a 2.8. I picked it up at a local photography shop for $25. You don't really know what you're getting. It's half the fun of being a photographer now, is finding out all the little quirks and personalities of all these different lenses. They're not all tack sharp. You know, they're not all multi-coated all to heck to such an extent that you know exactly what you're going to get. I don't like that anymore. I mean, I feel more creative because I don't know. I feel alive as a photographer because I now feel like there's this level of discovery. And I think if you get bored and you get and things get monotonous, you're done. You know, you're not going to be as engaged in your craft as you once were. And I think that's the reason I kind of paused and stopped making videos there for a while. I was just bored. I mean, I was bored to tears. On my flashes, I got rid of those Nikon flashes because I had been hearing great things about the Yongnuo 560 Mark IVs. I picked these flashes up for $70. My SB800s and the SB900s and 910s, they're like $500–600 flashes. I got rid of pocket wizards and I picked up this transceiver from Yongnuo. I can change the settings from here while it's sitting on top of my camera, and it radios back to these things and changes my settings for me. And I got it for $40–50. I got 2 flashes and the transceiver, $170 I think total, maybe. Somewhere in that ballpark. I'll have all the links to this stuff in the description below. If you happen to click on it, great. If not, I don't give a shit. But the point is that I couldn't have bought one flash. Flashes and these lenses, I got 4 lenses for under $100. Okay, that's just nuts. You can't buy one lens. One brand new lens for that much. For the price of all the lenses and the flashes and the transceiver, I mean, I'm under $300. Most of the time, you can't buy a new Nikon G lens for that amount of money. Some people will say, well, you're just buying cheap crap. Maybe I am. But at these prices, I will throw it out of a window and buy another one tomorrow. If it breaks, I'll return it through Amazon. They've got a fantastic return policy. But as long as I take on at least one job, and it just has to be one decently paying job, and I can buy all this equipment again. That's the reality of where we're at now. Everything else became disposable. I mean, technology is moving too fast. Everything is becoming disposable. The last thing I wanted to chat with you guys about is people talking about the power or the lack thereof of mirrorless cameras. The power is there. These are extremely capable little cameras. I don't know what it is with people that associate power with bigger, or whatever. Maybe that's just the way we've evolved. We just kind of naturally think that if this guy's bigger, he's clearly stronger. If that truck is bigger, it's clearly tougher. And that's not always the case. Yes, this camera is not weather sealed. It's weather resistant. I've actually had it out in the rain a couple of times and it worked just fine. I mean, I'm not full on downpour and I was under an umbrella, but it did get some water on it and it continued to shoot just fine. People keep talking about, yeah, well, mirrorless can do a lot of things, but it's not 100% capable. I have yet to hear anyone. And if there are some things that I haven't thought of about where this system might be lacking, I would love to hear it so that I can be prepared for those potential eventualities. I'm not exclusive because I'm on a brand bandwagon, because I'm not. I mean, I ditched Nikon. I ditched Android for Mac. Some things just work. I mean, that's how I begin to look at it. And I'm not a brand loyalist. I don't care who makes it. It's just got to work. It's got to do what I want it to do, and it's got to do it well. So I try and pick the right tool for the right job. But this is the dirty little secret that most photographers will never tell you. It's not your camera. It's you that make the difference. If you have a natural eye for aesthetic, if you have a natural ability to see or envision something in your mind's eye before you take the shot, you're going to take it just fine. All the technical stuff that you learn about photography, a week or two, you could learn that stuff with a lot of practice, a month, okay? But the dirty little secret is that pro photographers don't want you getting in the business. They don't want any more competition. They don't want you to take money out of their pocket. I can understand why. I really can. I mean, we've got to make a living, but you have to adapt and overcome. Pro photographers are not going to tell you this kind of stuff because they don't want you in the business. But here's the difference between them and me. I want you in the business. Because if you start stealing money from me, and I use the term steal loosely, but if you start taking business away from you, if you start taking clients or whatever, that's going to force me to improve and expand my skill set in order to provide a service that is better than what you do. It's going to drive me to do bigger and better things. It's not going to hurt me for long. Let me just put it that way. What I'm doing by moving away from traditional DSLR systems and moving to this is I'm trying to stay ahead of the curve. Because if I can move faster and I can be lighter, I'm not being weighed down by my equipment, I can be in more places faster, especially at like weddings. I'm not going to get tired as soon for fashion shoots or creative art shoots or whatever. I'm not going to tire out like other guys might. My equipment is going to be lighter, it's going to be faster. So if you guys have any ideas about where these cameras might be underpowered, I would love to hear those because I want to be prepared. So there you have it, there you go, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks again for stopping here at the Photo Video Show. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I'll see you guys again next time.